Hi, I'm Andy, and I am still a nerd. And I talked last time or two times ago, excuse me, a little bit about weight loss and fat acceptance and all that. And I'm going to do a few of these things about how to lose weight. This is the first of them, and here we're going to talk about the first and most important aspect of weight loss, and that is, in fact, it's the only thing that is absolutely required. You have to have this and do this, or you will fail, guaranteed every time. Uh, you have to want to lose weight more than you want to keep it on. And it's really, you have to make that decision to lose the weight. It's not an option. You have to choose to do this. It won't happen by accident. You look at yourself, you see what you did to yourself by accident. There it is. Most people didn't choose to be fat. So what they did is by leaving it to chance to their whatever their behaviors are, the body they got is the one they got by leaving it by not choosing a direction. So motivation is the hardest thing. Uh, there's people make a lot of excuses on how and why they don't lose weight. You don't need an excuse to be fat. You have to accept the fact that yes, you are not taking responsibility for your own health. That's a fact. Fat people die sooner. Fat people develop diseases and are a burden on the healthcare system. It's one of the, if not the most important, prevalent, uh, uh, avoidable uh, correlation to poor health. It's probably fat. I put fat over smoking because smoking, once you're addicted, it's not as avoidable as you think it is. To all you non-smokers, yes, I was a smoker for 40 years. And oh, by the way, when you quit, it's been a year for me, and I still want one just as bad as the day I quit. But the only thing that keeps me from being a smoker again is realizing that if I have even one, I will have to quit again, and I'm never going through this process again. That is the only reason I haven't had a cigarette since the day I quit. But that's an interesting motivation in itself. Understanding the logic behind it, that there are health consequences to smoking and health consequences to being fat. If you think smoking is bad for you, then thinking fat is bad for you should be easy, because I gotta tell you, the specific correlations to smoking are fairly narrow. I mean, yes, it causes emphysema. Yes, it's associated with correlated with a lot of other things, but fat is just global. Anything that's wrong with you is made worse by being fat. So, the problem is that that's not people don't do stuff for logical reasons. That's actually one of the purposes of our emotional system, is that it's the motivator. What gets you to take action. Thoughts are great, but somewhere you have to think about something strongly enough. There has to be an emotional power to get over the inertia of being where you are comfortable with where you are. So if you really are comfortable with being fat, hey, more power to you. But bear in mind there are consequences. You will never get the acceptance as a fat person from your peers as you would if you lost the weight. You have health problems. Your joints will give it out on you prematurely. Type 2 diabetes is waiting most of you. Heart attacks, yada, yada, yada. And it's that, I mean, COVID, one of the primary correlates was, in fact, overweight people and, type 2 diabetics. So, the logical reasons are there. You can choose to ignore them. That's up to you. It is a choice. I mean, one of the problems with weight loss is everybody thinks it's something you do, and then once you get to the weight you're happy at, you can do whatever you want. That's not true. If you go back to doing the stuff you did that made you fat, you will get fat again. Losing weight isn't an event or a pill or some magic formula. It's a lifestyle change, and you have to do it. Yes, you are giving up a second donut for the rest of your life. And you have to get over that. If you can't get over that, then just stay fat, you know? But recognize the fact that you have to make lifestyle choices. You have to do things to be fit. On the serious plus sides are first, there's just basic comfort level things. I've been thin before, I've been fat before, and I always choose to be thin because by now I understand the process isn't hard. It's just you have to repeat it. The motivation has to be there. And one of the biggest problems with being fat, as far as I'm concerned, is the aesthetics. When I'm single, I find that even when I was married, nobody wants to be with a fat person. Once the aesthetics step outside of a certain range, you are no longer appealing. Granted, some people prefer large women, but they don't. There's still a line. Where that line is depends on the individual, but by and large, society prefers thin women. And you can blame Hollywood all you want, but it doesn't. Hollywood reflects reality. It does not create it. Say I, even though I know the power of propaganda. But at the same time, it's not just a matter of aesthetics. You can say that's vain, but uh, sorry, how you interact with people in your life is a big deal. Your emotional connections with the people around you matters far more than the most antisocial person will admit. Your ability to get along with others and to have others appreciate you and enjoy your company. And yes, how wide you are. Once you exceed certain limits, your acceptability goes down in pretty much every environment. So after the aesthetics, just the basic comfort level. Fat people don't appreciate what it's like to, you see, this actually happened. I'm sitting there trying to catch a tour boat, and I can see it's 2 blocks away. I was with a girl at the time, and this is in my thin period, and we can see that sucker is getting ready to go, and I just could drop and full out run those 2 blocks to get that boat to hold up long enough for my girlfriend to catch up and get on that boat. If I was fat, if I was the shape I'm in right now at that time, there's no way I can do that. Go ahead, leave without me. I missed. And these things become a part of your life. Your fitness allows you to do things, to do things without even thinking about them that you would just drop ordinarily. The ability to, the elevator just left. I'm not waiting for it to come back down. I can run up those 4 flights of stairs without being a ball of blubbering sweat at the top, if I'm fit. Right now, I think I'm winded after 2 flights, the fitness makes a huge difference just in your durability and the way you physically appreciate life. Then, of course, there's the crazy things like being comfortable reaching around and cleaning everything in the shower, or clipping your toenails, or putting on your shoes. These things become challenging. You have to find workarounds to do these things when you're fat. When I'm thin, I can put on my shoes and lace them while I'm standing. I can put on my socks and shoes on the way to the car on the fly. I don't have to make a project over how to tie my shoes. Um, so motivation, there's a lot of reasons to get thin, but you have to mean it. You make the choice. If you're undecided or you're wishy-washy, you make the choice. Do I want to be fat or do I want to be thin? And every time you say I'm okay with being fat, well, okay, revisit the question in a year. Do I want to be fat or do I want to be thin? Circumstances will change. You will realize that, you're just not getting dates or whatever. Or, you get out of your car and you pull up in a BMW and, wow, everybody's in awe because, wow, guy's coming out and then he gets out and he's fat. It's like, ooh, disrespect, automatic disrespect in everything you do. And you can't blame the people. We as a society created this attitude because everybody in society knows fat is undesirable because it is unhealthy. And yes, it's everybody looks at fat people and says they have no self-control, which is largely true. Everybody makes they are less intelligent. I gotta disagree with that one. I'm a member of Mensa and a member of Intertel. The fat population isn't so far off, but in academia, I will say that there is a lower percentage of fat people in academia than there is in the general population. By fat people, I'm referring to noticeably, visibly. I mean, I don't know their actual weights, but no, it's not even comparable. You know, you go to a trailer park and look at the number of fat people, and then go into academia, and it's not even close. I'm not saying smart people can't live in a trailer park. I'm saying the concentration of intelligent people in academia is clearly higher because it is above the mean. The average is above the mean. So if the trailer park is the mean, and get it, you get it. But here, motivate yourself, make the decision. Do I want to get thin or do I want to be fat? And, you know, logically, well, I want to be thin. You have to mean it because it's the motivation, that initial impulse to overcome your status quo has to be real. Your desire to be thin has to be stronger than your complacency. Think of it as inertia. You know, you can't. Balls don't just magically start rolling because you make a decision. You have to actually apply force to your decision. And do not take this decision lightly. Think about it seriously. Understand what you're giving up by being fat. You know, understand if you become thin, what you are giving up by doing that. And when you make your decision, mean it. And there's all kinds of things we can do and talk about. I cannot believe I did this for 50 or 12 minutes. So anyhow, I'm going to post it as it is. There's really not that much to discuss. If you say, "Do I want to be thin?" Of course, the answer is yes. But compare, there's a binary choice. Do I want to be thin? Do I want to be fat? That vibration, that's funny. I just hit the table. So anyhow, do I want to be thin or do I want to be fat? Treat it like a binary choice, and mean it. Understand, either way you choose affects the rest of your life. So you have to want one over the other. And I'm not saying there's, you know, complacency and self-indulgence have their benefits. And it's entirely possible that you are willing to sacrifice the promise of extra years for the reality of eating whatever you want and not having to worry about it. So there it is. Take it for what you will, and we'll be back on as soon as I can find the time to do another one. Thanks.